Hello again and welcome to another Handy Dan video, part 4 of my electric smart car wide body. If you watched my last video, this is where I left off. This video covers the bodywork mods, prep and paint, and the final reassembly. First I jacked up the car and removed the body kit. Then I went around and filled all these tiny chips and scratches in the original paint. Some of these I probably created myself installing the body kit. It's amazing how many tiny flaws there were. If you remember from the last video, the side rockers had this gap all the way down. I put packing tape on the car, filled it with Bondo glass. The tape prevents it from sticking. Then I used a belt sander to remove the excess. Yeah, I sped that up. Here it is all sanded. And the first coat of Bondo, a little bit of glazing putty, and then primer. The rocker covers needed a lot added too. I added almost an inch to the top and back edges. Rear fenders had a mold line. I put Bondo and glazing putty, and then primed them. On the front bumper, I added panel mounts. I used tape to build pockets, filled it with Bondo glass. I made a center grille frame, and I fiberglassed it all together. I undercoated the back for better looks. I also made areas here for the front flares to fasten. And this is where that cut splice line magically disappears. If you remember, the hood vents were bolted down. I Bondo glassed the edge, and then I sanded it. I will fill this little part here with Bondo. Getting there. Just a little more Bondo in a few places. After you're done primering, sand each coat of primer with 400 grit dry. This helps smooth out each additional layer. The final coats of primer are all wet sanded with 600 grit to remove any dust or overspray. Just a light touch, so not really sanding through it, just trying to knock down any rough edges. You can kind of hear it in the sandpaper when you're done. feels like a glass surface. By now I have the entire car body removed. Kind of strange looking little car now. And here we have all the separate parts to paint. 22 individual pieces in all. Outside here I have the rear bumper ready to start painting. The arsenal of tools it takes to do the body work. You know, like Bondo glass to start out, hardener, sometimes 80 grit sandpaper, fiberglass resin and cloth, brush. After that you go to 100 grit, sanding block, whatnot, Bondo, spreaders, and then maybe 220, and spot filler, and maybe 320, a little bit of DA with 320, maybe 400. Then you get into cleaning, primering, wet sanding with 600, maybe a DA with a thick pad on it, 600. Then I painted gloss white. Then we did the clear. Rust-Oleum clear, first coat with eye candy pearl. A little bit of reducer in the gun. I wipe down each panel with rubbing alcohol. The first coat of paint is dusted on at about 20 inches away. This helps prevent fish eyes. Let that tack up about 5 to 10 minutes. Now I'll show you how to get glass smooth rattle can paint. The problem with rattle cans is the small flat pattern. The paint seems to cover the color and you think it's all good, but it comes out uneven. The secret is always paint into a light source so you can see the reflection. This way you see the wet edge and can cover dry areas quickly. Try to paint in one direction, an angle, so overspray lands ahead of the wet line. With the glare you can see the dry spots. All parts were painted this way, and look at that smooth shine. After everything was dry, all the parts were wet sanded with 1000 grit. Here you're not trying to sand it down, just a light touch to remove any dust or overspray. You can feel it in the sandpaper when there are no more high spots. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but all we did with the 1000 grit was knock down any dust or dirt. Everything was shot first clear coat with the pearl flake, and now we are wet sanding with 1500. Again, this is a very light touch, just to knock off dust. The second coat of clear goes on heavy and wet. About a 75% overlap in fast motion. Nice and smooth, no orange peel. But painting outdoors, you do get bugs. So everything has the second coat. It's an overcast day, so you don't see the pearl much. You can see a little bit of it on the parts over here by the light. Okay, let's put this thing together. Okay, now we're on to the body kit. We'll install the rockers first. All the fenders were bolted on with number 1032 stainless hardware and locking nuts. Remember this gap? Not anymore. The rockers were bolted on from below with the brackets I've made. The screw mounts on the front bumper are for the plates to hold the canards. They're bolted on from the back. Now the splitter is all bolted on. That looks pretty sharp. Oh wait, what does the final car look like? Well, you'll have to wait for the final video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned and subscribe for the next final video on the Smart Car Wide Body Mods.